Okay, today I'll be talking about fake 3D, and I'm going to be talking about how to add a weapon in the hand. Actually starts out with a weapon in his hand, but it's a knife. And then later on I'll talk about how to collect another weapon, and add monsters in the game. But here I'm going to talk about how to add a weapon, how to add like a plant in there, plants, and how to add a door. Alright, so this is how it starts out. So in my object, call this object hands. In the edit here, there is an image here of a knife, and then he pretty much slashes somebody when he goes out. And then it goes back in, he's not slashing, then he goes out and he slashes an object. Origin set to 0, 0. The mask, modify mask, is actually on precise. So some precise here, and add a global left press, go to add event, go to the mouse and go down to global mouse, and then click on the left pressed. Then in the control tab, this is what it's talking about. So image underscore speed equals 0.2 semicolon, so that's how fast the image is going. It's going very slow. And it's choosing image index 1. Image index 1 is going to be this one right here. So when you press the button, it's going to select this image right here, image 1. So you're actually using your weapon to try to kill somebody. So he's selected image 1, because when you first start and move around, you're at image 0. So when you click on the button, you're at image 1. So it's trying to kill an enemy or something. Alright, and then this is talking about the camera, where the X and Y coordinates are on the camera. I don't know the specifics, but this is what it's talking about, pretty much the camera view, X and Y coordinates. This is also talking about the camera X and Y coordinates here, the global coordinates, and then II equals instance underscore position. So this is all linked with the object wall basics. So when you are in front of the wall, he's not going to move through it when you use your weapon. Or it's not going to show that the weapon goes through the wall because it's solid. So I think that's what it's representing here. This green code, I'll talk about this later on, but this is all talking about when you have a monster in the room, how the weapon's going to be utilized when you destroy a monster, or when you hit a barrel, one of those barrels, when you hit it, it explodes. I'll talk about that later on too, but right now it's graded out, so it's not in use, and it's not going to throw up an error when you start the game when you click on the button. So right now all this is graded out, but I will talk about it in next videos on how that's utilized. And I'll put all this code in the description on YouTube, and you can download the code, or you can download the GM file for GameMaker 8.1. And I also believe you can, if you don't have 8.1 with GameMaker, you may be able to use this and import it into GameMaker HTML5. You can use it, you can import it into GameMaker Studios as well, but like I said, it's not gonna, when you play it on the PC, it's not going to show everything for some reason. Even if you fix the code, because it comes up a warning message when you import it into Game Maker Studios, it comes up a warning message saying you have to fix some of the code, and I've done that, but it still does not show some imagery for some reason. Some of it's blackened out for some reason, and it doesn't view right on your PC. But when you export it out as APK for your Android, it works fine for some reason. There's nothing wrong with it, so it's kind of weird. That's why I suggest go back to Game Maker 8.1, where it works fine on the PC, and I believe it works fine for HTML5 as well. Now, when global left release, same area add event, then it's going to jump back to image 0, where nothing happens. It just shows the image of the weapon, and it's not stabbing anything. It goes back to the original image 0. The speed's at 0 as well. I have it selected as visible, depth's at -100. Then the draw event, this draws out everything. So this also draws out the health bar as well, because the health bar wasn't in the other one I was showing you, the other video. So you want to put the health bar in with the image of the weapon you have in your hand. So the health bar is drawn when you have your weapon in your hand. Also the health bar is there as well on screen. So this is basically talking about projecting everything. It's going to project the sprint hands, which is the weapon you have at these coordinates here. It needs to be white, so that way it shows on screen. If it's black, it's not going to show up. The alpha is at 0.4, low settings, and it also is here as well. It's kind of weird. Alpha's at 1 there, but it needs to be there for things to work right. And then certain things are hidden. Set that to true, and the color of the health bar is going to be red and lime. So basically, when your health bar goes down, it changes color. When it reduces size, and the projection is at these coordinates here. Alright, and then in the create event, the image is going to, when you first originally start the game, the image is going to be set to 0 speed, and the image is going to be at 0. So it means it's going to be static. It's going to be where it's not stabbing anything. It's going to be stationary and static until you press the button on the mouse, and then it's going to do a jab effect and try to kill whatever's in front of you. So, and I reduced the window on this to 50% so you can see the whole screen, but you can change the settings later on. So I went to the global settings and just changed it to fixed scale to 50%. That way you can see it on screen, the full, on my camera anyways, and then when you actually play the game, it will be set to keep aspect ratio, and then I just change this to 100. But I'm not gonna, when I export this out and put it up on YouTube, it'll be at 100, and I keep aspect ratio, so you don't have to mess with anything. Just doing this for me talking about this, so you can see the whole screen here. So let me show you what I'm talking about. See, and you have to put the hands, you have to put the weapon on screen there. You have to put it in the room so it shows on screen. These green squares, I'll talk about that in a minute, but these are the plants. The yellow line represents the doors, where you open the door at. I'll talk about that in a minute, but just let me show you what I'm talking about right now. Alright, so now he has a weapon in his hand. He's able to move forward, back, this direction, and see the plants there. And you stop at the plant, press the mouse, and he uses the weapon. He has his health down there, the health bar. And then you got the doors here. So basically when you get in front of, when you move forward and hit the door, it opens up. And you can show an indication of the door right there that's open. If you don't want the door to show there, you can change the seconds and make it go more inside the wall if you wanted to, but I wanted to show indication that the door is there. And I tried to do the hip bobbing thing on this, and I cannot get it. I cannot find something that will make it work. I don't know how to do the hip bobbing effect. I think it may work fine. I think there is a head bobbing effect, but I think you need to try it with Studios, and it may work with Studios, but I haven't tried that yet. With GameMaker 8.1, I haven't seen anything that's going to make it work for making him hip bob. So it looks like he's actually physically walking. Right now he looks like he's like a tank or whatever, just sliding forward. Alright, so the next part here is I'm going to talk about the plant. So the plant is just a red square indicator. Went to edit and made the origin position at 7 and Y is at 7. That way it lines up great on the grid system. When I snapped it at 16 X and Y is at 16. So it fits where I want it located at, using the 7 origin, so it's not too close to the walls. Depth's at -20, and then the parent is parented to object wall basics. So whatever the wall has, all the attributes in the wall is also related to the plant, so that's why it's parented to that. So anything that the wall has, all the code that's in the wall, is also going to be going to work for the plant as well. So that's why it's parented to the wall. So then I went to went to the draw, then grabbed a coded sheet, and then open bracket. It says if open parentheses here, point_distance X and Y global camera. This is talking about the camera view. Is set. So, and then the TEX equals sprint get textures. This is basically talking about that it's going to project the plant with the sprint texture here. And so in the sprint folder here, I have a folder called textures, and inside the textures is the plant. So the plant, and I modified the mass to rectangle, that way it doesn't get stuck in the plant. So make sure it's set to rectangle so it fills the whole screen here. And then the origin is 0 and 0. But see, basically this code's talking about it needs to get the image from the texture folder, so that's what it's doing here. So and the position's at 0 here, so it's not going to be moving. And then you have the global settings. So this is talking about the camera view. So it doesn't matter how you turn the player in the game, the actual plant's going to rotate as well. That way it looks like it's 3D, but it's really flat. So the image is really flat, but when you rotate the camera around the plant, it's going to look like it's 3D. So the plant actually rotates with the camera. That's what it's pretty much doing, I think, is that when you're rotating, the plant is rotating, so it looks like it's 3D, but in reality it's flat. So that's what's happening here. And then it's also the codes here are also to keep you from getting stuck in the image as well. It allows you to bump up against it, but it doesn't allow you to get stuck in the image itself. So that's what this code's doing. And this is going to work the same way with the bullets. I'm going to add bullets in the game where you can collect bullets for your weapon, and other plants in the game, as well as the monsters. It's kind of set up the same way with this code for those images too, but I will explain that in other videos how to do that. And now the door. The door is just, the origin's at 16, Y is at 4, so that's the position where I want it at in the room. So it locks it down in the grid when I use the 1616 snap. Use the add event to create, add a coded sheet, and this is going to state, this is basically stating that it's rotating the flat image up, so it looks horizontal versus vertical. So it's being rotated up at 16, minus 16, and plus 16 for the X and X1 and X2. The Y doesn't need to be utilized, and then the Z axis is also, so basically it's just rotating the flat image up so it looks 3D when you're looking at it in the room. And then this right here, the TXT, it's getting the image from the backgrounds. So in the backgrounds here folder, it's grabbing this texture door image here. The width 128, height is 128. So it's grabbing this image right here. That's what it's stating here. Texture door. And it's also linked with object wall basics. So whatever attributes the object wall basic has, this door is going to have as well. So when you bump up against the door, you're not going to get stuck into it. You're not going to go through it. You're just going to collide with the door, and it's going to open up. And I'll try to do one with a key as well. So if you get the right key, then it'll open up. If not, then it won't open up. I'll do that later on, next videos, and other videos later down the road. Okay, so, and then you have a sliding door. So it's this, you have another image, the same thing, origin at 16, Y is at 4, precise, add a create event, and then this one you're going to have a move fixed for the move position here. So it's going to move left at 1 speed. Then the code is the same setup. It's going to rotate the flat image from being flat on the ground to being rotating up in a horizontal manner so you can see it straight on. Same kind of code as the other object door. Then you have an alarm setting from the main 2 tab. I set mine numbers of steps to 32. If you don't want the door to show at all, and you want it to be hidden completely in the wall, then I changed this to like 33 or 34, and it goes inside the wall completely. Then I made it alarm 0. Then I went to add event and grabbed alarm 0, and then once alarm 0 kicks in, it's going to stop. Excuse me. So it's going to stop at 0 speeds. Then I got to grab the step event, and it's going to do this X1, X2. So I think this is just talking about that it's going to be rotated or projected horizontal, so you can see it straight on when it's going in the wall. When it's moving in the wall, it's projecting at X minus 16, X plus 16. And this is also parented to object wall basics. Then in the player event, when you collide with the object door, it's going to make a sound where it opens up, and it's going to change. I set it to other. That way, if you have multiple doors in the room, it's not going to open all the doors. It's only going to open that one particular door when you go move up against it. You don't want it set it to self because it's going to open all the doors. You want to set it to others so it only opens that one specific door that you're bumping up against. And then change it to object door sliding. So then it's going to, once you collide with it, it's going to open the door. It's going to switch the static door to open door. And I think that's about it. And I don't have, like I said, I don't have it collide with the plant because I already have a code in here for colliding with plant for the player, which is in here. So if bump against the plant, he's not going to get stuck in the plant. So you have to have this image of the weapon in the room, otherwise it's not going to show up when you play the game. And that's pretty much it. And I'll talk about monsters and barrels and how to pick up weapons and ammo later down the road in my next videos. And then I'll talk about how to import it into Game Maker Studios and how to play it on your Android device. Alright, thanks for watching.